Hi, for our first investigation of how these hooks are really working, so let's take a deeper look into the useState hook for the very first bit of functionality in the application. Let's set up a simple search bar application so we can type into and conduct a search. Right, let's destructure useState from React. And create state variable called search query and set state function called set search query. Then in the JSX, let's add a simple input field with type text and attach onChangeEvent function reference. I'm going to call that onChangeEvent function reference called onSearchEventHandler. Alright, right now we are getting this error. That's because this onSearchEventHandler function is not defined yet. So let's go and create it. Now the error is gone. Cool. onSearchEventHandler function, it takes a parameter that is from React event, so-called synthetic event. Let's go and create them. Inside this onSearchEventHandler function, let's destructure the value from the input element and log search query and set the value within the state. In this case, it's set search query. So first step, let's extract the input value. And I'm gonna log search query. And line number 9, I'm gonna set this value within the state. In this case, it's set search query. All right. Let's check out the log now by typing into the input and let's see. Indeed, we are seeing some logs in the console. That's cool. But notice every time the log seems one behind the actual fully entered output, rather the actual fully entered entry in the input field. Could it be perhaps that's a matter of our console log appearing before the set search query call and not after? Let's see, by changing that in the code, we are going to make the console log after the set search query insert. Let's do that. Let's try again. So with that change, let's type into the input and see the log again. Okay. This time the search query log has still only made it to DE, okay, without the final character X. So this change doesn't address the fact that the search query value seems one behind whatever was typed into the input. Alright, let's try one more time. Yeah, T. Okay, this is definitely something mysterious going on. So let's add a paragraph tag that displays a search query as a text using a pair of curly braces after the input element. Again, using a pair of curly braces, which actually displays the search query value, we can type in and see what it actually does. There it is. I'm typing in text. We are seeing the actual value is text, but again the search query log hasn't made it to the final value. See? Alright, let's investigate what is going on at a deeper level with this onSearch event handler method. This one. Okay. This search query function is provided to react through handler as a callback function by referencing the name of the function itself. So the JSX of the overall mismatch between the log and the value is as a function. This callback has its own closure as a function with its own closure. The onSearch event handler method has its own scope with access to certain global and local variables, and these variables are defined at the time of the callback created. Not to explain why this would cause a mismatch between the log and this value, it is actually followed the order of execution as the input is being typed into. So the engine handles the execution when it's firing on search event handler function. Initially, the input value is blank. In addition, internally, the search query state value is a blank string. When the user typed a T, for example, a T, in response to this event, the onChange handler sends a callback function to the React engine. This callback function itself has both the set search query line and the console.log line of the search query. First, it arrives line number 8, that is destructuring the value from the input element. And the line number 9, the search query function is being put to the queue because it's an asynchronous and non-blocking mechanism. It doesn't execute right away, and it's handled in the background within the React engine, ready to actually update the internal search query and eventually recall the render. At this time, it doesn't block the rest of the onSearch event handler method from executing JavaScript. Still makes it to the console log. The logs fires off, and the search query at this time is a blank string. See, that's why you see the blank string. So the console print the search query value is blank. Alright, next the React engine is due time will call the huge set search query function internally. The search query function updates the search query value that React is internally keeping track of within its engine as relevant state for the component. So the search query value becomes T, which is the user typed internally. This means state variable has changed and it should re-trigger a render of the component. So it recalls the app component that contains the input. This time the UseState hook on the first line of the app component destructure the updated internal search query value from the React engine, which means that you can display the new value for the search query. So overall, this creates a series of events where anytime the user types that the log will print the current user value. But later, during the re-render, this gives us a chance to reflect the updated search query value within the internal React engine. So to extend this example, let's say the user now decides to type another character, E. Okay, follow up T with an E into the input field. Again, the onChange triggers the update. OnChange triggers the update, okay, by calling the onSearch event handler callback. And the first line is destructuring the value from the input, and the second line it fired the search query line, which is queued to the React engine to eventually make the state update. It doesn't block the JavaScript from executing for the rest of the function. So the next console log is reached, and this time these are created value in terms of scope of this callback function is T. So T is logged to the console. Now that this callback function is done executing the set search query function held internally by React fires and update a search query value held by React to the event.target.value, which is now TE. Since a setter was used for state React nodes to re-render the app function component as your function component is fired, the state hook line will read the updated search query value from the React engine and destructure TE. Therefore, the JSX now displays TE as well right here. The overall result is that we get a console log of T first and then display of E thanks to the re-render. Since all this happening under the hood in a matter of milliseconds, it could be confusing what is executing first, but this example is hopefully revealing how the React engine handles hooks internally and how it calls React and put in function overall for render. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of the video tutorial, guys. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks guys for watching this video. See you next time. Bye.